Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ask the Experts here on Talk Radio 1190. We interview local professionals here in the beautiful Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, North Texas area to be exact. Well, on their area of expertise, of course. I'm the host of the show, Matt Cather, and joining me on today's show, Joe Kronwetter of Rescue Air. Always a pleasure having Joe on the show. Before we get to him, you can find Rescue Air online at rescueairtx.com. That's rescueairtx.com. If you want to give them a call, 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. You can call or text that number. Either one is totally fine. You'll be able to get a hold of them calling or texting either way. Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. My favorite thing to talk about, the Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. A lot of great information, a great resource in itself, customer testimonials, a little bit kind of behind the scenes, before and after. They've done they fixed some installs and kind of give you the before and after, which I love. There's a great video on that. And then, of course, if you miss any of the shows here on Ask the Experts with the guys with Rescue Air, ladies and gentlemen at Rescue Air, you can go back and listen to previous shows on their YouTube channel because they upload every show every week on there to just in case if you missed out. So, welcome to the show, Joe. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Really good, man. All is well on my side of the things. It's looking like a decent day here in the DFW. Hopefully the rain holds off. I know that's been a kind of a theme here lately. But
yeah, I think we've got enough for the whole year already.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been May and beginning of June so far. It's been a little rainy, but I know you guys have been busy nonstop. Work never stops over there at Rescue Air. So why don't you we'll start things off. If there's any new listeners out there, kind of give an idea of what you guys are all about.
We're a whole home comfort company. You know, we do air conditioning, heating. We also do installation. We do, maintenance, repairs. And, we're just a group of people that like helping. And, air conditioning is the tool that we help people with.
All right. Well, fantastic. A little bit of overview of what they're all about at Rescue Air. We got a little bit of questions they're going to jump into today and talk to Joe about. We'll get right to it. When we talk about maintenance, we bring it up here a decent amount, but there's always a lot going on. Everything's always changing for y'all. Why don't we talk about what people should expect in regards to that and what they need to do in regards to maintenance if they're going to have something done or need y'all to look at something?
Well, I'd say there's kind of two things that I see getting done out there, a maintenance or an AC check. If we're doing an AC check, we're really just kind of checking the key components and just doing a overview to make sure everything looks like it's, in range. And then on a maintenance, we're going a step further and actually doing some cleaning. And with the maintenance program that we offer, we take the outdoor unit apart, clean the condenser, and then do all of our tests there to make sure everything is running to manufacturer specs, and really just try to stay on top of things to prevent those breakdowns so people don't have, that inconvenience of the system going down. And, most of the time it's, more cost effective to be proactive, and maybe take care of some smaller parts that may be out of range that were caught on a maintenance than, letting them go and then actually breaking down, because then you could cause more problems.
Now, let's put it in perspective, I guess. When you guys come out there to do a check or to do a maintenance routine, I guess you could say, what should they expect from you guys? What is? I know you got like simply a checklist, which is great. What does that consist of, and what should people should assume that you guys are gonna come out there when you do give them a service or whatnot?
All right. Well, when we come out, we're going to go over the expectations of that call. So whatever we're coming out there for, the technician's going to explain, everything that we're looking for and what we'll be doing on that visit. And when we're there for the maintenance, it's generally an hour and a half to do a maintenance. We have about an 86-point inspection that goes over all of the system's key components, and we test everything against the manufacturer's data. So each piece of equipment will have information on it on how it should be performing, and we basically check all of those things. And our maintenance sheet is really informative. There's a lot of detail on it, so you can see, the range that something should be operating in. And we've got, like a green, yellow, and red checkbox for each item, so you know where things are, and things that are in the yellow or red category obviously is where we would need, to have some attention to address certain things. And we always give multiple options. So, something we might find that's out of spec, could be addressed now. Maybe it's something that we keep an eye on and see if it gets worse on the next visit. So things are really clear on how the system's operating, which things need attention, and, which things are best to be proactive with, and maybe certain things that can wait.
And since we're kind of on this topic, I think it's appropriate to kind of bring up your maintenance plan that you guys do too. Why don't we talk a little bit about that, what that entails, and kind of how much does it cost for the folks that are interested in it?
So our maintenance plan is $11.95 a month for the first system, and then you get a discount on the second and multiple systems after that at just $6 for each additional system, and it's a pay-as-you-go program. We don't lock anybody in, a year at a time and constantly renew. We set things up in a perpetual way. People can use a routing and account number. It makes it really easy. They don't have to worry about updating if they have a credit card change. And they can pretty much stay on the system as long as we're keeping them happy. If you have an air conditioner, it's always going to need maintained. And, when you have a good company that's doing things the right way, they're going to be able to keep that machine, running at its peak performance, maximize its longevity. And, if you're testing things and we see things that are, starting to go bad or need attention, then you have the ability to change them before it breaks down. And just avoid that breakdown. And plus, if something does happen, who you're calling. You don't have to, in the moment, worry about, who you're going to call if something happens. And you get a discounted rate if you do need to call us, along with priority service. So we give a, 24-hour guarantee. Mm-hmm. If somebody has a breakdown and needs us, we'll be there within 24 hours of that phone call. And it's only $20 to get us out, at the time if there is an issue, and you get a discounted rate for being on the club. And going back to the not locking anybody into any type of contract, it's really up to us to earn and keep your business every time we're coming out there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm glad you kind of touched on, and something we talk about here and there, but really something that's important is the priority service. I love that. And especially because we're about to get into the hottest part of the year here in Texas for the next couple months. And without AC, that's definitely an emergency. So to have that guarantee of within 24 hours, I think that goes a long way. Don't you agree?
Most definitely. I mean, we put it right on our trucks. Our slogan is fast and fair with your repair. And, the service that we provide, being upfront with everything. Everybody always knows exactly what the repair cost is going to be before it's made. So get approval for everything before anything's done. 90% of the things that we come across, we have the parts on our truck. And in most cases, if it's something that we need to get from, the manufacturer, we're usually getting it that same day or next. So if somebody does have an issue and we come out there, 9.5 out of 10 times we're getting the repair done right then and there, getting them up and running. And in some cases, we're even able to maybe take a part off our truck and temporarily put it on the machine to do further testing, so we know if there's anything else that needs to be addressed, rather than making that one repair and then finding out that there's other things. So we do as much as we can to get things up and running and being able to test them and test other things, so we know that when we're giving our homeowners their options, that there's no surprises after they pick a certain with something else going on.
Guys, we're talking with Joe Kronwitter of Rescue Air today. If If you want to reach out to them for their services, you can give them a call first at 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. Like I said, you can call or text that number. Either one is totally fine. I'm a texter myself, so I understand. RescueAirTX.com is the website. That's RescueAirTX.com. A great resource of information, but another one as well, Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. Both are great resources. Check out their website online, or go to their YouTube channel, and I really just talk about that a lot because it gives you a little bit of everything. If you're curious about the company, I feel like that's a great way to figure things out. Obviously, we've been talking about maintenance. You're hoping in the case maybe it's something small, you can fix it, but what if it's large? And in this case, what should people expect if they need to do a new install with their unit?
Well, it's been interesting this time of year, mainly with equipment shortages, and
which we'll get to here shortly, because that's the great. I'm saving that for last because I think that's a huge topic right now and something that's really interesting in itself. Yeah.
Well, the main thing is, if you get to the point where you need to replace equipment, is being able to have options and make sure that other things are addressed with the install of new equipment. In regards to the system, there's a lot of times where, people will have hot or cold spots in their house, maybe higher humidity levels, and some of those things could be addressed with the install of new equipment. Equipment itself is not going to address some of those issues. Some of it may be the way that the ductwork is connected to the system, or maybe the ductwork is undersized or routed improperly. So when an install is being done, all of those things should be taken into consideration, because that is the time to make those corrections. If you're going to have to replace equipment, there's a lot of times I go into homes and people talk about, we ask them, what are the most uncomfortable rooms in the house, so we know, what to look at and what to address if we're going to be moving forward and changing out equipment. And a common thing that I hear from people is, this room is always hotter in the summer, but it's the furthest. Like, it's acceptable to them, and it makes sense to them that, it's the furthest away. It makes sense that it's the warmest. And that's not the case. It's just things that are not done the proper way. If it's the system or that particular room, maybe the duct is too small and it needs to be upsized. Maybe the way that it's split off another duct is not correct, and that could be altered. So when having a system changed out, it shouldn't be just the system itself that's being looked at. It should be all of those things. The condition of the ductwork, how well are things sealed up? Is there enough return air coming into the system? That's another big one. That's kind of an Achilles heel for the air conditioners, not enough return. The system cannot create air. It can only blow out the air that it is sucking into it. So if the return is undersized, that's going to affect the airflow delivery. So we look at a lot of those things. So if somebody's having somebody out there and looking at system replacement, especially if they have rooms that are harder to heat or cool, or if they have higher humidity levels, those are things that should be addressed and talked about and have solutions provided for, along with the install.
And that should be really done prior, correct? I mean, because you've seen before that duct work, whatever the case might be, that half of the time, maybe half the time, I might be wrong with that, I'm sorry, that it tends to be that it's just an incorrect install, it's an incorrect ductwork, or there's just something wrong with that in general. It's not fully, that the equipment in itself is gone bad, correct?
Yeah, so the things that we see most commonly with ducts are incorrect routing. Mm-hmm. So the is the connection point from the ductwork to the system. And a lot of times they're in the wrong spot. And the way that a plenum is designed it's a pressure box, and it has, different pressure levels at different points where you connect the ductwork. And if you connect two pieces of duct in the wrong spot, you might get too much air in one room, not enough air in another. And then when the install is done, that could be easily corrected just by switching duct locations. and also short on return. So there's a lot of homes that don't have enough return air. So if you can add return and get more air into the system, you can then get more air out. So these are the things that we're looking at when we're, coming up with estimates for equipment, is looking at those type of issues, because there's no way around it. This stuff's expensive. There's no cheap way out when it comes to get, equipment. And, we're going to make sure that when we're putting stuff in, that it's going to perform to the way that it's designed to perform.
And like we've said, every house is different. Every situation is different. So a lot of people, I think they need to kind of take that into consideration. Maybe your neighbor's having some difficulties, but your situation could be completely different. That's why you got to have professionals come out there and take a look at it,
Most definitely. A lot of these houses, when the duct systems are designed, they're designed for them, just that blueprint of that home on paper.
Yep.
You could have the identical house to your neighbor across the street, but the way that the sun is just hitting your house versus him, all the rooms are being affected by the sun differently. And, his duct system might work great where yours might have, problems. So when we do these things and look at it, we look at how the house sits, and, everything is done room by room when we need to make duct changes. So, and especially if we do an entire duct system, if it's done, it's custom tailored to your home sits, and how that house is, built.
There's a lot more variables to it than people realize, I think, and I think that's why we like to have you guys on and explain that for us. We're going to have to take a quick break here on Ask the Experts real quick. We're talking with Joe Kronwetter of Rescue Air. When we get back on the other side of things, we're going to talk a little bit about regards to equipment and shortages, so you don't want to miss out. Really good topic of conversation coming up after the break. Stay tuned. This is Ask the Experts here on Talk Radio 1190. We'll be right back on the other side with Rescue Air.
Rescue Air are your experts in home comfort with emergency and same-day service available. At Rescue Air Heating and Cooling, they provide fast and affordable HVAC services. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, their technicians are equipped to take on any job, no matter the size or complexity. Unlike other HVAC companies that charge by the hour, we guarantee upfront pricing by the job. You will always know what you're paying for. And with our variety of products, your cost and quality requirements will be met. Your home's HVAC system is a complex home necessity that should only be trusted with a professional. Don't overheat this summer. Keep your home cool and comfortable by contacting Rescue Air Heating and Cooling. Don't Google for an HVAC professional. Contact Rescue Air now at 972-450-9517. That's 972-450-9517.
All right. Welcome back, folks. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday morning. This is Ask the Experts here on Talk Radio 1190. We interview local professionals on their area of expertise here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Today we're talking with Rescue Air. We're talking with Joe Kronwetter of Rescue Air. Before we get back to Joe, 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. You can call or text that number to get a hold of the ladies and gentlemen at Rescue Air. RescueAirTX.com is the website. That's RescueAirTX.com. And last but not least, Rescue Air Heating and Cooling YouTube channel. Check it out. I don't need to say any more about it. I talk it up all the time. It's great. It's an awesome resource. Just go on there, give a couple views. And like I said, if you miss one of the shows here on Ask the Experts, they upload all the shows to it. So you can catch up if you miss something. Joe, we're going to talk about equipment shortages. I know that's it's been something you guys have been dealing with recently, and something that I guess you could say a lot of people, a lot of industries are dealing with. So what are you kind of seeing right now in regards to that?
It's day to day. We're running in a way where when we come to somebody that's needing to replace equipment, we're a next day company, and man, even sometimes same day, depending on the time of day that we're out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now it's a day-by-day thing. Before, when we could just go on the computer and just easily look to see inventory and order what we needed, pick it up that day, install it the next. It's not like that right now, and it's just hit or miss with which particular model and which size. So pretty much it's a day-by-day deal. You got to call in and see what's available. The good thing is we haven't had anything taking longer than a week for product to come in. Hopefully the manufacturers are able to keep it that way as we start to get, to the summer more and things start to heat up. But it's definitely interesting.
Have you guys had to change rates a little bit? I know has equipment kind of been more expensive because of that, or is it just more of a shortage?
It's more of a shortage.
Okay.
We haven't seen anything yet with the pricing going up.
Well, that's good.
As we get further into this, if the materials, keep going up more and more, then there's a real possibility of that happening. That's a little bit out of our control.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the construction's been dealing with lumber prices. I mean, it's been out of astronomical at this point. But if it happens, it's part of it. But hopefully, it's good to know that so far it's just mostly been a shortage in y'all's world. That's great news. I guess if you're saying, I guess I shouldn't say it's great news, but better than it could be.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a big part too is just the manpower.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these where they're being made, they're just not fully staffed. And hopefully that changes soon, and we're able to meet the demand that comes up with the heat. But for right now, I mean, everything's been good. We've still been able to do our installs next day. There's been a few cases where maybe a particular piece of equipment wasn't available, and a customer maybe had to wait a few days, or maybe elected to go with, another piece of equipment. We do have multiple options. We have pretty much, I want to say probably about 8 different options to be able to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing is we don't have one or two that we're offering. We're offering several different types of units and a few different brands. So we're able to make it happen right now, but definitely the shortage is real.
Yeah, and the reason we talk about this, one, because the consumers need to know, and two, most importantly, if you are out there and you're listening to the show, or just in general, if you're out there and you're thinking you need to have something done to your unit or just your ductwork or whatever it might be, obviously they could do plenty of things. Don't wait. You need to call them now. You need to reach out to them now, because not only is it going to be really hot here soon, we're going to be dealing with some extreme temperatures. It might be a couple days extra because of the equipment. So I think that's a key thing to point out, correct?
Yeah, if there was any time to be, proactive,
it's right now.
This year past is it. I've done this for a decade, and I've never had an issue getting equipment like we have now. And again, hopefully it doesn't get worse, but if it does, I'd hate to see people that know they have older equipment that are just hoping and wishing that it makes it through the season.
Mm-hmm.
The equipment's usually not on the same plan that we are. The harder it works, that's when they break. So, I mean, somebody that has older equipment, we do free estimates for this stuff. So,
yeah.
If you want to see where your equipment's at, give us a call. We can come test it and do some things and give you estimates. And, if right now, while weather's a little bit more favorable, if the unit you choose happens to be 2 or 3 days out, but yet you're still running, then, that's a great situation to be in.
Yeah.
If we go another month, that equipment breaks and it can't be fixed, or it's an extremely high price, to fix, and it makes more sense to replace, and the possibility of a few days, I mean, it's a lot different experience.
Yeah, and that's why we kind of wanted to talk about it on today's show, because it is important. It's something you guys need to know out there. We talk about preventive maintenance. We talk about being proactive towards whatever it might be. Well, this is the time to really pay attention, and if you're having any issues, like I said, free estimate, reach out to the guys. They love to come out and help you and see what's going on. We got about a minute left on the show, Joe. You want to kind of give us a closing remarks for all the listeners out there?
Anything anybody needs for their, home comfort, we're here for. We do a lot of training with our guys. We've got a lot of great information. We provide multiple solutions on how to address things. And, we're just a group of people that really like to help make things better. If anybody needs us for any of their home comfort needs, definitely give us a call.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things they always say, it's ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, Class Act Company. And we look forward to talking to you again, Joe. We'll do it again here soon, okay, sir?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that was Joe Cronwater of Rescue Air. One more time, if you want to reach out to them, 972-964-2665. That's 972-964-COOL. Call or text that number, rescueairtx.com, rescueairtx.com. And then last but not least, their YouTube channel, Rescue Air Heating and Cooling. We'll do it again with them here very soon. Stay tuned. We got more on the other side. This is Ask the Experts.